Hi guys, today I've been tagged to do the behind the scenes tag by my friend Kat. So I'm going to go through some questions that she's given me and hopefully some of it will make sense, and if not, you know, who cares, it's a video. Question 1. Where do you find the inspiration for your videos? Lately I've been making videos for people performing music, so it's in their song, it's things that they make me think of whilst it's going on, or... Nah, scrap that, it's people performing. I'm literally filming people perform. It's trying to capture some of their passion, trying to capture some of the technicality of what they're actually doing, if it's a guitar solo, if there's a certain bit of piano, if there's a certain amount of emotion that's involved and conveyed. It's trying to get all of that to fit on the screen all in one go. Do you have a notepad / Word document / file dedicated to the ideas? I definitely write a lot of ideas down. I've written down far more ideas than I can actually think have been made. A lot of the time I write down ideas whilst I'm busy with another project just in case I forget about them, and then at a later date I come back, I look at them and I think, you know what, maybe this isn't actually worth me filming, maybe someone else can do a better job, or they can represent it better, or maybe my opinion doesn't matter so much on the subject anymore. And a lot of the time that's due to a lack of confidence in the ideas and also a laziness on the part of being exhausted from a big project. I don't want to come back and then sit and script and the rest. And that's not good practice. If you have an idea that you think is good initially, try and flesh it out a little bit. Try and find something along the way that you think is decent, something that can make it worth watching, worth engaging with, and then go from there. And that's something I'm going to work on. But yes, I do write down some ideas, I just don't make a lot of them. How do you prep for a video? I set up the lights and the camera, I make sure the batteries are charged, I make sure that the sound is reasonably good, and if the fridge is making noises, I turn it off. I hope that the house is quiet, or the location that I'm filming at, depending on whether I'm doing music videos for other people. I try to make sure that I can get the best sound quality possible, so if we're in a studio, I'd like to have them have their own engineer that can do the mixing and mastering so that it gives them the best sound. I like to make sure that there's enough lighting and enough chargeable batteries with me so that throughout the day I can keep on changing things over. I like to get people to stand on their marks. I like to do practicing follow focus. You didn't hear that, but that was my wrist just clicking away. Some of the videos that we've actually prepped for recently involved us getting together and going through a storyboard first of all to work out the kind of shots we're going to be dealing with, and then gradually throughout the rest of the day we keep on looking back to that sheet or the little book or the iPhone notes just so we know what we're meant to be getting in each frame. The more preparation you do for a video, the easier it is at the end when you're editing it to get it all together and out. Like, it's so much quicker that way. I make sure that everyone's got the same settings for their camera. So you want the same lighting, you want the same white balance, you want the same ISO, frame rate, shutter speed. You want to make sure that as much matches as possible so that it's not going to clash later on when you're editing it. And you want to make sure that it looks visually the same from the various different angles. You want to make sure that you're using the right reverse angles. If Kato was doing this, he would be telling me that I should always be sitting here because he loves his rule of thirds, so you know, I'd be there and I'd have like a picture of a dinosaur over here just having fun. But I like to be central in these because I'm talking directly to you and I'm not going to have reverse angles. A reverse angle for this would literally be just looking at the back of my head and the camera, and that's just not fun. How long does it take for you to prepare your appearance for a video? The same amount of time that it would take for me to prepare to go outside and see the world, i.e. as little as possible. I'm not doing these to be seen as some kind of beautiful being. I know I am, but it's completely coincidental really. For this video, I just had a shower. I walked in here, I'd already set up the lights and the rest of it so I could just come in, sit down, film. Most days it's either when I've just got home from doing something or if I've been sitting around, but I think it's kind of a good idea to just wake up and try to look your best anyway. I'm not saying that looks should be the most important thing in a video. Certainly shouldn't, but whilst you might not care about it right now, when you go back and watch some of your older videos later on, you might be like, what was I doing? It's just, you know, try to look good. At the moment I'm going through this weird bit where I'm trying to grow a bit more facial hair around the side but not too long, and it's just a bit patchy. I don't know whether I want a full beard or not, so I'm just giving that a try. And that takes a bit longer, but only a little bit. What time of day do I film? Well, the music montage things just happen throughout any day, and it's usually a compilation of various different days, so it could be middle of the day, it could be evening, it can be any time. These videos, again, I don't have a set time of day that I film. I film when I want to, because I'm not doing scheduled uploads. These are more for my own enjoyment, I guess, and my own little like interaction, trying to build up some kind of relationship with the audience of 10 people. There's not really much point in me choosing a particular time, although as it's a beautiful sunny day I actually need less lighting because the sun over there is giving me this. Daylight is usually the best time to be recording, although it can completely screw with you because as soon as something goes behind a cloud you've lost an entire angle. Show tell us where you film. No, I'm not going to tell you where I film because most of the time you'll see it. One of my recent videos, which I'll put at the end, was at the Tate. One of them was at the Miller. One of them was at a friend's house. Definitely can't show you that. My house at the moment, I specifically use this angle so that you can't see all the other mess that's in the room. There's no point in me showing you the locations. Most of them you can see as well. Like the ones done in churches, the ones done in studios, the ones done here, there and everywhere, the ones down at my bungalow. You know where the things are? And that's great, that's all you need to know. Natural lighting or studio lighting. I'm happy to use natural lighting, it's good, but you don't get as much control over the editing process afterwards. I prefer to have as much control over that as I can to keep the balance as normal and as similar between shots. I use these little things at the moment because they're very easy to take around with you. You put a little rechargeable battery pack on there and it's great, and it's very bright, very easy. I can put a link to those below as well if people want them. What type of camera do you film with? I'm fortunate that I've built up a little collection of cameras as I go. So I have a 550D, a 600 which I'm filming on now so I can use the flip screen, and a 5D2. The 5D2 I like to use if I'm just doing single angles or if I'm going to be setting up a wider angle because it's a full frame camera. It's got, like, it makes every lens just this much bigger. It's brilliant. But the 5D and the 550 and the 600, there's not really a massive amount of difference that I've noticed. It's a bit sharper at times. But really, like, a 550 is all you need. A 600 if you want the flip screen, which a lot of the time it just serves as a distraction when you first get it. You just spend the whole time going, and that's not helpful. I use the 550, and I have a whole bunch of different lenses that I've used over the years, but I'm mainly right now using 15-85. It's a 3.5 to 5.6, which isn't too bad if you've got decent lighting going on. At the moment, I have just one light over there in the sun. That means that I can set it to 5.6 and be absolutely fine with it. Do you ever script your videos that go with an outline? For the poetry, for the thought-provoking, for the talk response pieces, I will write down at least some bullet points and guiders that will let me know what I want to be talking about so I don't forget it. And for this, I've got the list of the questions written down so that I know what to go back to, what I've got to be answering. But most of the time, I just go off the top of my head. And it's not the best of ways because it means that I've got a lot more to go through and to sort through to work out whether or not the final video is made. But it's more natural for me, and it means that I talk straight from the heart, hopefully. And sure, I stumble along words every now and again and I can't remember to go back and like refilm a certain section so that I can jump cut easier. But that's okay, right? If you edit your videos, what do you use? I use Final Cut Pro 10X, whatever it is. I didn't understand editing for a long time, and then this came along and was basically iMovie with better functions and just a lot more things that I could do. I downloaded a whole ton of plugins for it because the program itself is missing certain features that I wanted, and once I learned what keyframing was, it enabled me to do some of the weird silly stuff like following things around with a mask over my face or the bouncy stuff, and it makes it a little bit easier. But basically it works like most Apple products where you go, I think that this should do this, and he goes, yeah, I guess so, that'll do, there you go. It's not as brilliant as Adobe Premiere Pro that a lot of people love because that's got the great functionality where you can jump between that and After Effects very easily and use all the other different programs that it works with as well, like speed grading. But as a standalone, it's very useful, very easy, and it's made my job a lot easier. How long are your unedited videos before you scale them down? This video is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes long because I've already used up the time allowance for the first filming bit, but most of them I took for about 10 minutes and then I'm scaling them down to 2. You film a lot of extra stuff that you don't need, and then, you know, you filter through and you work out what stuff is actually relevant, what's going to be beneficial to people. And that's not a lot of what you say, to be honest. How many times do you try to film per week? I'm pretty much filming every single day. I just don't always release it. I don't feel that it's needed. And I could probably do a Vita thing forever this year, but then I wouldn't have time to do anything else. I try to be filming with other people as often as possible because I want to build on my reputation, help other people get better. I want to just be busy. How often do you pre-film? I've done it a couple of times, but not that often. I don't have the schedule for it. My choice in topics and videos would probably change before I'd actually release the video, so it wouldn't be much point in that sort of sense. But it's good to do, especially if you're going to be busy. If you film like 6 videos in a day, just keep changing your top and your hair and then release them over the next couple of weeks. People think that you've got some really consistent lighting, you've worked really well on the thing. It means that you can take that time off to do other things without people realizing that you're actually taking that time off to do other things. It's a good idea. How long will a typical video take from setting up to being edited and out there? Depends on the mood, really. I filmed something the other day, had it edited and out within about an hour. Other stuff can take me weeks. Just depends where my mind's at. I'm reasonably fast at editing now, so it's just whether or not I'm fully motivated or if I'm really happy with what I'm doing. The more scripted it is, the quicker it can go out. Setting up the equipment takes no time. You just got to put up a tripod here, tripod here, tripod here. Make sure it's in focus. Turn on the sound thing, make sure that's recording, and then go. That's the last question. People that I can tag. I'd like to tag Ray Roberts, Mike Dean, Ella Says Hi, and Lucy Evenden. Whether or not any of them will actually do it, I don't know. It's okay to not. It's fine. Enjoy yourself. Here are some other videos that I've done. One up there where that happened. One over there where that happened. Those two though, they're great. You should watch those. They're incredible. And then I stop. And then I